Let us say God decided to give you a project. Okay. He said that there is a new planet that needs to be inhabited, and there are some beings, some souls who have volunteered to go there. They have to complete their learning, and this planet offers the ideal setting where they can complete everything that they have pending. So there have been some beings who have volunteered for their services. They want to go, they want to help the planet, they also want to learn, they want to progress on their life path. And they have given you a way to figure out how we can still communicate with these people after they have landed, because before they have landed you still have a connection with them, but once they will land they will forget everything that they know so far. They will forget that they are souls, that they are not beings from that planet, they are migrating to some other planet, or that they have begun a new life, or their purpose was to learn and to grow. So now they have given you a template that this is how everything will go on. But now you have to figure out how to communicate with them. And you have to find a way in which they are not, you know, shocked also, not taken aback also, that who am I hearing, At the same time, they do get the message that they want to receive, because they will forget. Once they reach, they will forget whatever they had to accomplish. So they might need reminders from time to time. But at the same time, we can't be too direct because we might freak them out. So they have given you that message, okay? And let us say that let us say you hire a team. Okay, you have a team that helps you figure all this out. So you put this question forward that how do we tell people if they are on the right path or on the wrong path? And your team suggests that how about when they are on the right path, they feel sad. And how would you react? How would you feel? Will you say that, but how can they feel sad because they're on the right path? So if they feel sad, wouldn't they stop? Then your team suggests that maybe if they are on the right path, they start to feel happy, they start to feel joy, they start to feel gladness, maybe gratitude. And then you think, okay, this makes sense. And this is the project. And you will get into further details about this. But let's say this is the plan for now, and you'll see as things go along. So you send these people to the planet. So, why was it that in this case, all of us, me and you, decided that when we feel happy or when we feel joyous or when we feel gratitude, that we should assume that we're on the right path? But when it comes to us on this planet, we assume that if we are unhappy, if we are sacrificing, if we are sad, then maybe we are on the right path or the noble path. Why is it not obvious that we should not be punished for being on the right path? Why is it that some of us still don't get it, do we? It takes us a lot of time. And I understand where that comes from, because life has been hard, I guess, that we have started to assume that life being hard would be the default. But just because life feels hard or life feels not easy does not mean that the laws of the universe have changed. It does not mean that no, now you are no longer required to be happy, that you are no longer required to be in gratitude, that you are not required to be in joy. It does not mean that at all. Just because we decide that maybe I am better off if I am unhappy. Because if I start to feel happy, then I will probably one day be unhappy. So better to be preemptive and be unhappy directly, right? Why not cut the root at the problem and cut the problem at the root? And let's just start with being unhappy. And if we are unhappy, then we won't need to worry about happiness at all. But okay, let's say that is also fine. Let us say that you decided to be unhappy and great, let's be unhappy together. But what about now finding finding solutions. What about the project that was given to you? Now, how do we get there? How do we find our path? How do we find what we're supposed to do? How do we find out if we are on the right path or the wrong path? Because now we have chosen unhappiness. So, will we find the right path? How do we now check for the signal? What is the signal? We always assume that life should be hard. We always assume that if we are suffering, if we are unhappy, that we are noble, that we are living the right way, we are living for other people. But who is benefiting from all this unhappiness? Who are we finally helping from all this requested unhappiness? Who is the one person that is benefiting from you being unhappy? And if you think there is such person in your life, then I'm sorry, first of all. But then this person should be less in your life. If not, not at all. God would say not at all. God would say move on. He would say if there is somebody who wants you to be unhappy, who is more comfortable when you are unhappy, when you feel small, when you feel less, then you have learned your lesson and you now need to move on. God will say enough. God will say it was never required of you to be so unhappy for so long. But we decided that no, happiness feels scary because the moment we start to reach out for happiness, it starts to go away. And when it starts to go away, then I feel unhappy. So why not skip to unhappiness directly? The problem is not that life is hard. The problem is that we sometimes choose it to be hard also. Sometimes we react in ways in which we think we are supposed to react. Yes, sometimes life will feel rough. It will feel like it's draining us more than it is enriching us. But at the same time, how long we plan to suffer because of it is a choice that we make on our own. Sometimes I think people, all of us, cry because we think we are supposed to cry in the situation. Sometimes we laugh because we think we are supposed to laugh. And we have slowly we start to disconnect from our own center, from our own intuition, and we don't even realize that we start pretending in our own life, that we start to we have started to become somebody else. We have started to lose who we were. We have started to forget who we were. We don't even know who we are anymore. And it all started when we decided that happiness was scary, and to be accepted and loved and transmute yourself or become somebody else's version of good enough was more important. Where we started to modify ourselves, where we started to turn ourselves into a version of a person who would be more liked. But we also realized with time that no matter how much we change, we would never be liked by the people that we were craving attention from or craving validation from, because the people who are right for us will like you or like us no matter what. And the people who don't like themselves, not you, themselves, people who do not like themselves will not like you. In fact, if you like yourself in front of these people who do not like themselves, they will like you even less. They will not love you for who you are. They will not look at you for the shining bright light that you are. No, they will hit you. They will slowly start to break you down. They will slowly start to dim your light. And sometimes they won't even realize that they're doing it. They will envy your capability for happiness, and they will try to sometimes mute it, lower it, make it smaller. And while that should be another reason to scare you, it also tells you that your happiness is so important that all these people want it also. Not your happiness, their own happiness. The moment we start to disconnect from happiness, the moment we start to disconnect from joy, the moment we start to disconnect from gratitude, is the moment we start to lose our path. We start to forget who we are. We start to forget what we were here for. Joy and gratitude was always the way. And either it was a cause or it was an effect. What does that mean? Joy being a cause means, or gratitude being a cause means that when you practice gratitude, more good things come to you. What does effect mean? What does joy being an effect or gratitude being an effect mean? It means when you choose the right things, when you do the right things, when you are working with your highest self in your highest alignment, you will feel joy and you will feel gratitude. So, gratitude and joy and happiness is like a light that leads our way. It's supposed to be there. Without it, we will be lost. And the more we disconnect from it, the more we will disconnect from ourselves. Whoever taught us that our happiness was selfish behavior, either they were very sick themselves, or they were very hurt, or they were trying to protect us. Either way, what they said is not true. No matter how much people love us, if they teach us that our joy does not hold value, they are not for us. They are not for us. They will never be for us. In fact, our job is to be so in alignment with us, so in tune with our happiness that we show people that that was never the case. So one day maybe they can also change and understand, or maybe even just slightly open their minds and realize that joy was always the way. How else are we supposed to understand in a world that is so chaotic, in a world that is so filled with everything? People, situations, so many incidents that keep happening, in a world that is so full of everything, so dense. How are we supposed to know what is right for us and what is wrong for us if there is no signal to lead us? And that signal is happiness, it's joy. It could be a problem for some people to realize that. At the same time, it is such a blessing. How blessed are we to exist in a world where chasing our own happiness gets us everything that we want, more of what we want, happiness, more gratitude. How easy and simple does it make things when we realize that all we needed to do was be joyful, be in gratitude, and be filled with happiness? How easy does it make things? Is it as easy as I'm speaking? No, because we need to now change our conditioning. We need to change what we have thought so far for so long, for such a long time. We need to now change all of that. All the time, people who we respected, people who maybe showed us by example, right? And all of us learn by example. We don't learn by words. We learn by example. When we see other people choosing their own sadness, we think maybe that is safety. And our nervous system wants to feel safe. Our nervous system wants to feel secure. So, what do? We start doing what others are doing when we start choosing our own unhappiness, and we think that maybe if we are unhappy, we will be safe. But how many times have you walked into a room and felt strange, felt unhappy, and have come out of it happy? How can unhappiness be a cause and happiness be a result? Is that possible to do? Shouldn't what go in come out? If you squeeze a lemon, will orange juice come out? Things are always simple. It's us who complicate them. We complicate them. We think, oh, it cannot be this simple. It needs to be more complicated. But things needed to be simple always because they were meant for everyone. Maybe somebody with your intellect can understand deeper things. Maybe they can read books or they can analyze content, or maybe they have the capacity to find solutions, find resolutions, find different things in the context or subcontext of what they were reading. But maybe for somebody else, something else is their forte. Maybe they know something else. Maybe for them, intellect is not their forte. Maybe it is feeling, maybe it's emotion, maybe it's creation, could be anything. So things always were required to be simple. But since simplicity was so easy to find, we started assuming that it had to be more complicated because if it were simple, we would already have it. And we started to forget what was right there in front of us and we started to look for deeper answers. At the same time, the answer was staring at us in the face. You want to be happy? Chase happiness. You want to be unhappy? Chase unhappiness.